see the way they hate. And I know better than to listen to the people who are calling us slaves. I can feel the sunlight shining in.
Well, good morning and welcome to episode 840 of the Lots Project Morning Show, where the coffee's strong, the opinions are stronger, and everything is always filter-free. I'm Brian, your host, and today it's May 26, 2025, Memorial Day Monday. I don't know how many people will be around, how many people are working, or maybe have the day off. Maybe we'll have a heavy crowd in the live this morning. This morning, I'm enjoying a fresh cup of Light Roast Ethiopian Yirgacheffe from foodforestfarms.com. This is basically my favorite bean that Brian sends out with my C4 membership. It is fantastic. It's fantastic. And at Food Forest Farms, your beans are roasted by real human hands using a clean Airstream roaster. And the customer service is absolutely fantastic. You're more than a customer, your family. You can get 10% off with LOTS10, code LOTS10, LOTS10 at foodforestfarms.com. And their shipping's always free. Use the discount code or not. And while you're there, check out C4 Club for even more awesome perks. And you're going to want to look into that C4 Club if you are a coffee drinker and you drink a decent amount. You're going to want to think about that. Coffee prices are about to go through the roof, guys, and you can lock in your price for the long term with the C4 Club. Check it out. All you got to do is commit to £2 a month, and you can buy a shitload more, and I recommend you do. Today, I've got another full show, progress on our building site prep, a road trip to gather some supplies for our second table build, some fresh new sample wood projects that Corey and I pounded out over the weekend, and a whole lot of rain here and in the forecast. So grab your coffee, smash the like button, and let's get started. Let's swing over into the live chat, see who's hanging out already. Good morning. Early in was Jim. Jim, I don't know if the show app popped up on Nostr yet. I'm looking at my zap.stream dashboard here, and it's not showing. And I don't know. I don't know what the deal. It's a new app. It's still testing. Oh, and there it pops up just like last time. And I'm guessing it's going to be kind of choppy. I don't know. Gentleman that created the app, it's mobile only, and the reason I'm testing out and having some issues is it's mobile only. So I have my phone next to the screen, which has StreamYard on the screen, and I'm streaming there. I dropped the quality on the camera on the StreamYard stream. That's why it's so dark, I believe. Looks like my battery's dying on my ticker there too. It's just a shit show. I'll tell you, the whole last week Corey's been off. It's been fantastic. We spent almost the whole time together. Good morning over on Nostr. Rod, thanks for making the app. I'm testing it out again. The app is pretty smooth, and I'm getting pretty streamed comments in the app. Jim's still having problems with Amethyst saying says offline and live but no video. Jim had problems last time and Rod did not, so I don't know what's going on. I might have some time this week to dig in beyond just this show, but I do want to focus on this show. Corey was off all week, and I spent a lot of time with her. Very little time on the computer. A lot of time. I'll talk about a couple of things we did over the week later in the show, but I really enjoyed spending the time with her, and it really revitalized the realization that that's what we want to do long term. That we want to figure out something that we can earn enough cash to do that full time together, and her life was way better not having to stress out about what she's got going on at work. So new goal. Jim posting Jim and Rod are going to be talking a little bit. Anyway, good morning, Mike's Homestead. Rod says it's a little choppy over Noster, but it's there, and that could be my internet. Really, Corey logged in the work this morning to do some work. I got 2 streams going. I don't know. Anyway, Jim mentioned the nice new hat came in. I thought I would use it for the live streams and some video content I'm going to be doing. Bitcoin hat. If you're listening, you can pick those up over at FOMO21. They got a ton. They have a ton of Bitcoin gear. They got t-shirts, hats, all sorts of stuff, and you can get 10% off using code LOTS at FOMO21, FOMO21.com. And if you just put the /LOTS, I believe the code gets put in at discount, or gets put in automatically at the end. Mike's Homestead hanging out. Good morning to you, sir. You've been probably getting as much rain as we are over here. And Hunter, thanks for stopping in. You working today, Hunter, or are you hanging out at home? Oh, anyway. Jim's still troubleshooting. Maybe it's a Jim thing. maybe it's not me, maybe it's not Rod, maybe it's not Show, maybe it's not Noster, maybe it's Jim. Anyway, don't have the light up here because the battery's dying on my ticker. Tried to charge it up here before the show, but we're sitting at 109,662 on Bitcoin price, and that's doing well. That is doing well. Hunter says he's working today. He's trading it for Friday. I remember when I got to do that kind of stuff. My holiday hours were flexible, and you could move them around and do what you want. And it sounds like he's got a weekend camping trip with the in-laws, and looks super excited about it. Hopefully he pushed the wrong emoji, but I don't think that's an excited emoji in it at all. Anyway, guys, like I said earlier, foodforestfarms.com. You're going to want to pick up some coffee and give it a try. It's going to be the best coffee you're going to try. Anybody that's ordered it up, that's talked about or listen to the show, pick some up, use the 10% discount or join the C4 Club, has not been disappointed. Man, yeah, it's that good. So check it out, foodforestfarms.com. And if you're over on Noster and you want to spend some sats, Brian does take Bitcoin. It is a little wonky on the site. If you just reach out and email him or fill out the contact form there on the site, you'll be able to order with Bitcoin. Good morning, Seattle. Just talking about your coffee and your Bitcoin stuff over at the site. So anyway, Rod says a new version of Show out tomorrow with some more video quality options. So maybe I'll try that, Rod. I'll when I see it hit the Play Store. I ended up getting into the beta over on the Play Store, and I will update that and give it a try with a lower res and see how that does with our internet. So oh yeah, good morning, Seattle. If you want to use the Bitcoin over on the site, just use coupon code crypto. Make sure the order goes to 0, and he'll send you a Bitcoin address, because you have to put your email address in when you make the order. So he will send you a Bitcoin address, you pay for it, and then it'll get shipped out as soon as it's confirmed. So bada bing, bada boom. Anyway, let's get to it. And anyway, Brian, your Yirgacheffe is fantastic this month. I just blasted through a pound of it in the last week or so, and it's been phenomenal. So appreciate you. Anyway, a little update on the cabin site. I was able to get out to the cabin a few times, or get out to the property a few times this week. And yesterday, so it was yesterday, today's Monday, Sunday, Saturday, the gentleman that was working on our driveway, and if you don't remember, we got a driveway put in up the hill to our build site, and right after it came in, we got an absolute deluge and a huge rainstorm, and it washed out a bunch of the bottom of the driveway where I mean, we got like 6 inches in an hour, some stupid shit, and it was just so much water that it got backed up in the drainage, and from looking at it, it seemed like it made a whirlpool around where the water was exiting the culvert pipe, and so it just, where it was swirling, it ate away the brand new chert and base and the base dirt and everything, and so it basically looked like somebody took a big bite out of the edge of the driveway. And so it's been wet. He's had some equipment issues where he needed to get some stuff fixed on his equipment, so he hasn't been able to come out and fix that. And it wasn't a big deal because we really didn't need to get up. We didn't need to get up to the property with a truck. And anyway, his trailer was up there, so it was advantageous for him to get it fixed so he could bring his trailer down. So that was kind of the status. I was just kind of letting things go. We had marked out the final location. Corey and I went up, and not final, but final-ish. It'll be final when the company comes to put the posts in. But the location of the cabin, how we want it kind of oriented, we had new stakes in, and basically been hands off out there for a few weeks. Tons of rain and actually tons of sun in between, and things had just exploded. It's overgrown up there. I've been working kind of more on the food forest side and Tim's cabin side when I get the chance to get out there, and it's just in limbo. Saturday, the guy that was working on the driveway sends me a picture of the build site, and it's bare soil, and I kind of got excited. He got the driveway refixed, and then where I had talked to him about getting the build site leveled. So while he had the Mini X out, he brought his laser level out and leveled off a pad basically larger than where we wanted to set the cabin, like where I had my stakes. He went 5 to 6 feet outside those stakes all around, and ended up getting it really level. And so I was excited about that. And with the rain, I was like, man, I don't know if I'm going to be able to get in and out of the road. It gets pretty sloppy pretty quick. And it was getting in pretty rough shape. But he also said in the message that he regraded a lot of the road. So yesterday I decided to pop out there and check it out. Got some work done on some projects, some wood projects around here, and then I took a swing out there to check it out. I had to grab some stuff out at Tim's cabin, some tools and whatnot, and walked up to the site. And man, it got me a little excited. Well, it got me a little more than a little excited. He did a fantastic job. It's going to be, we're going to do some work after the structure's up. Probably, bless you, Corey. Probably after the posts and roof are up, but before we build the cabin, we'll end up getting in there, and we'll end up building probably a swale around the edge of the property, because I knew it was sloped. I didn't realize, well, and so he leveled it all the way across the 36 feet or 40 feet or whatever it is, lengthwise. And so when you come back to the leading edge, the highest edge, it was a more of a significant drop than I had realized. It was a gradual slope over 40 feet. But when you look at that all in one spot, it was decent sized drop. So I stopped and talked to him. He was working on some stuff over at his property, and he said, when we get the orientation and everything, get it up, we will definitely clean that up some more. We have some more stumps we want him to take out, and he still has to finish the parking pad at the top of the driveway. So excited. It's progress. I need to get up there now with a string trimmer or borrow a blade trimmer and really knock out the growth that's up there and stay ahead of it. But we're coming up on about a month until we should be getting the posts and roof installed. It might possibly get delayed with all the rain. I don't know how many jobs are getting done, how many installs are going to be getting done, and we're on a list. So it is when it gets to us. So still looking towards the end of June, and I'm guessing more like just after 4th of July is when we'll actually get it in. So I may be wrong. It might be early. Who knows? Just anytime he gives phone call and gets us on the schedule, we will go for it. So, oh man, this stuff is good. Mike's Homestead says building nesting boxes because, like any true homesteader, you get the animals first, then figure out what to do with them. What you get? You got nesting boxes. So chickens or rabbits? I think if you got rabbits and you didn't have anything to do with them, they're pregnant if you're building nesting boxes. But you got a few days, unless they're really pregnant. And chickens, man, just throw a 5-gallon bucket on the ground on the side, throw some hay in it. They'll love that more than anything. Or legitimately just throw a bale of hay in there and they'll lay on top of it. They will anyway. Oh, you got some rabbits. You got a little while on those nesting boxes unless they are unless they're ready to pop. So what kind of rabbits did you get? So that is kind of the site update, and get out there, get it cleaned up. I still got the stacks of solar panels out there. I have oh, you had babies last Thursday. Whoopsie. Yeah, that happens. Gotta get out, get that trimmed down. Got the solar panels sitting out there. That's just in the waiting. I really don't have anything to hook them up to, so they're just kind of stacked up at the site. And the shed water collection system is working great, but the tote is just over full. If I had had a couple of really large tanks, I would have definitely been able to catch a lot of water in the last little bit of it. But we just have the one tote, so got to get my little pond finished up and get some more totes and hopefully a huge large tank for the catching water off the house. So that is the cabin site project. Mike says Flemish Giant Cross, Rex Cross. Interesting. We were going down that line our own. We started with a purebred Flemish Giant and a Rex, and we're breeding in hopefully the size, the bone to meat ratio, the size of the Flemish Giant, bone to meat ratio, and the fur of the Rex. And we got about, I think we were 2 or 3 generations in, and we still hadn't pulled out that recessive Rex gene. Going back to high school, if you remember, dominant and recessive genes, the plush fur in a Rex rabbit is a recessive gene. So when you're crossing it with something that doesn't have that, you got to go a couple generations in, unless you get really lucky. And if you get really lucky, it's only going to be for that one and a portion of the offspring. So it was a decent experiment. Breeding rabbits and starting your own breeding lines is definitely a long cycle and a long-term adventure. Especially we babied our new breeder does, and we didn't breed them till almost a year. So it was a long cycle for sure. So best of luck with that. Do you have did you get the plush fur in the Rex body or in the Flemish body? How did it turn out? So Anyway, if you sponsor Read number one, if you're serious about holding your Bitcoin, you're going to need a hardware wallet you can trust. The Blockstream Jade and the Jade Plus deliver. The Jade Plus adds a bigger screen to the Jade, upgraded controls, and an optional metal case, all while remaining stateless and totally air-gapped. The Jade and the Jade Plus, both of them. That means your private keys never touch the internet or internet-connected device. Get 10% off the Jade or the Jade Plus at checkout using my link. You can find the link at the website, or you can just go to store.blockstream.com and use the Lots Project. You'll save your 10%, and I will get a little kickback. Protect your Bitcoin the right way, and just remember, not your keys, not your coins. Wait, soon, Hunter says soon you'll be able to throw it in the CRISPR box and make whatever you want, like 3D printing. Jim's taking a bathroom break, and Mike says they're first gen crosses. It's an interesting experiment. We had a really big Flemish and a really tiny male Rex, and yeah, just you can think about that. Let's see what else we got going on the list here. Corey and I took a road trip this week. I mentioned earlier that Corey was off all week. She had some things she wanted to get accomplished, and she was able to do that. A little bit of my help, but able to get everything accomplished she wanted on her vacation. We finished our first table. It is our table. Through the build, we decided that Jim's kind of paused here for a second. Jim says it's not the size. Watching him try to mount her and get up on her back and still be his body length, and I'm not talking about his junk. His junk was adequate, but it was him trying to hold on to her hips and curl around and reach the area he had to reach. It was humorous. It was like he was trying to climb a fucking mountain. And if you've ever watched rabbits get it on, it's funny to watch when they're the same size. Well, males are usually a little smaller than the females, but watching this was comical. Jim says that's the problem with fat chicks. She wasn't fat. She was just big boned. Literally. Anyway, we finished our first table. During the build, we realized that it was going to be ours. It's farmhouse style table. They could be used for inside. They could be used for a patio or a picnic table. The build we wanted to do originally required 4x4s. And I had somebody ask why I wanted to use untreated 4x4s, which I couldn't find locally. The untreated 4x4s would have matched the material at the top. And since it was going to be used for inside, focused on inside mainly, we wanted to use non-pressure treated for the top, and to make it match, to be able to stain it, to be the same. We were going to have to use the same material for the legs. We weren't able to find those for the first table. I thought that I did manage to take 2x4s, since the legs on the design are half-lapped 4x4s. And if you don't know what that means, is you basically cut out a notch halfway through each one and then put them together like Legos almost. And so what I thought was I could lay two 2x4s together face to face and then fill in the gaps, and visually it would turn out similar, and structurally also. It worked okay. It wasn't the best, and we had to use a lot of wood filler and a bunch of gaps. I was working with both. The material wasn't all the same size. The saw, I only had a skill saw, and some of the angles, you get a 1 degree off, and it over the run of a board, it looks different. So we had a lot of gaps. And then when we went to stain it, the wood filler didn't take the stain the same as the wood, which it is what it is. As we were finishing the table and starting to work on the benches, we realized that we were just going to keep this table for us and use it as skill building and practice and evaluation on like how much time it takes for sanding and what tools we wanted to buy to make the job easier. And so we finished the table. Got that done. We got 2 benches done with it, 2 long benches for the long sides of the table. The 6 foot by 3 foot wide table, 6 foot long, 3 foot wide. So a couple 6 foot benches, and then out of some scrap we had, we made 2 end benches, which weren't in the plans. We just kind of made them up as we went, and made 2 end benches. Got them all stained, got them all stained twice, got them all poly sealed with some spar urethane for outside, since we were going to plan to use this now as an outside table. We wanted to protect it. And it looks really nice. The pictures we got of it, it looked really nice. I got them posted on the Telegram group. And Corey and I also, I'm going to mention this in a little bit, but we also fired up a Facebook page for our little side hustle here we're putting together for wood projects, making tables and some other stuff that I will talk about. But K and B, Corey and Brian, custom builds with custom with a K, custom built, KNB, custom built, custom with a K for K and B. It all works. It all works. But anyway, we got pictures up there. We got pictures on the Telegram group. It looks really nice. I was happy with the way it turned out. I wasn't happy enough to sell it. I mean, I guess if somebody wants to buy it, I will take their money because I don't hate money. But it is definitely not. It wasn't good enough for me to feel right about like listing it and asking for a price. And since we needed a table, it all worked out, and we decided early on that was going to be the case. But I mentioned that I couldn't find untreated 4x4s for the legs. When I looked on Lowe's website, Lowe's is the closest local big box store. They didn't have them locally. I checked several lumber stores, and I didn't go down the road of checking sawmills. It just was what it was. But Lowe's on their site suggested that they had untreated 4x4s at the Muscle Shoals location. And when I looked it up, it was about an hour and a half drive. Corey and I talked about it, and we said, well, let's take a trip down there. We can pick up enough for at least 2 more tables, or 1 and some spares, and make some other projects out of the untreated 4x4s. We'll just make a day of it since she had vacation. See how the drive is. See how the drive is, and check it out. We had swung through Muscle Shoals when we were traveling with the RV to check out the Fame studio and the other one there. The name's slipping my mind right now, but the famous recording studios there in Muscle Shoals. And just see how the drive was. Go down and make a day of it, or a morning of it, as it turned out. And so that's what we did. We finished up the other table. We made the plans for the second table we're going to build. We're going to do a little different style on the legs, on the base, and actually a little different style on the top, but very similar to what we did. Another large farmhouse table that could be used inside or as patio table, or as a picnic table, really. And so put together a material list, took a trip down there. It was about an hour and a half drive. Really nice drive, really nice drive other than the smell. As we got south of Savannah, Tennessee, we're driving along and it's 2-lane highway, 55 mile an hour, easy drive through the country. And it just smelled, it smelled like sewage, honestly. And we are not sure if it was the truck in front of us, if it was what it was. And it happens randomly around this area where we're staying currently. And I can't figure it out. I don't know if it's the river. I don't know if it's if there's like a large sulfur content in the soil here. I don't know what it is, but it happens sporadically around this area, and it'll last for a day, maybe two. You just randomly smell it, and I haven't really been able to correlate it to anything like a lot of rain or a lot of drought or what it is. But yeah, it just smells like sulfur and sewage. And as we were driving down, oh man, it was for a good 20, 30 miles. That's what it smelled like. And I wondered if it was me. I wondered if it was Corey, but we turned the recirc air on in the truck, and it was definitely outside. And we thought we were in Mississippi. I actually have a little note on my topic list for the week that says, "Why does Mississippi smell like shit?" Come to find out, we didn't go to Mississippi. We were in Tennessee the whole time. So why does Tennessee smell like shit? Mike, do you know? Do you get that sulfur smell over by you? And anyway, it wasn't as horrible on the way back. But we made it down to Muscle Shoals. They had actually a nice amount of straight, not cracked, not full of cracks, not rough, not full of huge knots, 4x4s untreated. They didn't have as many as they had said on the inventory. I don't know if they had a couple more pallets somewhere else or a couple more stacks of them somewhere else. But we picked through them. We picked up twice of what we need for the table build. So hopefully we don't need any extra. Don't need any extra. But anyway, Mike says he's never had the smell, but well pumped sulfur water. It might be the water. Honestly, I don't know. Chris asked what type of wood. It's just pine. Just pine for the table. We'll see. Good morning to you, sir, by the way. Anyway, picked that up. They were a little more expensive. They were a little more expensive than actually the pressure treated ones. And it was funny. We had a dozen. We had a few other things that we had to pick up while we were there. Some tack claws and I don't know, something else. We had about $20 worth of. We had about $20 worth of other supplies, and so we're standing in line, and I don't know if I can get in trouble for talking about this. I don't know. It was a moral dilemma actually after the fact, but regardless, we're standing in line. We wait forever in line behind this lady. She couldn't, or behind these two guys. The cashier couldn't get something to ring up. She was having all sorts of problems. Lines were building up. We were over at the pro desk, the pro checkout by the lumberyard, and we roll up to the cashier, and she comes out, and she was pleasant, but you could tell she was having a rough day. And she scans our small items and then scans the lumber and says, "How many do you have?" And I said, 12. I got 12 of these, and it was obviously, 12 4x4s is a big block. And they're like $14 a piece or something. $17 a piece. They're 1686 or something, $17 a piece, approximately. And she says, okay, your total's $120, 120 and some change. And I'm like, okay. And I give her the card and she's swiping it. I'm like, thinking about it. I'm like, wait a second. 17 times 10 is 170. Okay, $120. Hand her the card, pay for it. Grab the receipt. We walk out and load it up in the truck, and Corey's looking at the receipt, and she typed in 5. I don't know if this was a deep discount, employee discount, but I asked Corey. Sometimes I have trouble enunciating things. I asked Corey, did I told her 12, right? I didn't say like a dozen 5. A. B, she stood there and she looked at the pile, and it was obviously not 5 4x4s. And I was like, okay, all right, whatever. That's not, at this point, it's not my problem. I don't think. And then I got thinking about it with Corey, and I was like, is this, what do you do here? Do you go, no, lady, it's a dozen. You can't count. Obviously, if it was self-checkout, I would have scanned it and said a dozen, but their employee is ringing me out. So I don't know whose responsibility that is. It is what it is. We jumped in the truck and took off. So maybe I stole some 4x4s. I don't really think so. I wasn't hiding them. I wasn't being deceivious. I expressed to her the amount that I had, and she decided to charge me for less. So maybe they were on sale. I don't know. Not my issue to figure out. Ironically, when I went to buy some 2x4s at the other local, at the other Lowe's, the local one, a few days later, the girl scanning all of the boards. I had to get a dozen 2x4s, and she's scanning them all. And I was like, well, can't you just scan one and type in 12? She goes, no, corporate wants us to start scanning all the boards in. And I just kind of chuckled, and I was like, oh shit. Chris Dixon says, I found when the big box store employees give no fucks, you get some pretty great discounts. That's kind of what I took it as. As she was done ringing us up, she was taking her vest off. I don't know if she was going to break or quitting or had just had enough or what the deal was, but I was appreciative of the discount. So thank you, middle-aged woman from Lowe's. It helps if I fuck up the tables anymore. I guess a little more profit room on the table build. So anyway, we found a nice place to have some lunch. I think it was called Stanfield's. Was it Stanfield's, Corey? Stanfield's. Had a decent burger. Corey had some shrimp pasta. It was nice. It was a weird vibe in the restaurant. It was I don't know. It's like this mix of upscale and not quite upscale, and it was just this weird vibe in there. But the food was good. Service was fair, but had a good lunch and then came home. So it was a fun little road trip. Other than that, no really problems. The truck is running great. I'm really excited about that. It's been a relief and a lot of stress relief that since I cleared out that long-term trim and reset everything on the fuel management, it's just started running great. So that made that trip a lot more feasible and a lot more enjoyable too. So I think I could run down there no problem in the morning and go shopping and be back in the afternoon, just like a trip to the grocery store or something. So it's just it's not bad. It's not bad. We're glad we made the trip, and now we have the material to get going on that next project. So Speaking of those projects, Corey and I have decided that we're doing kind of a two-pronged approach with our woodworking. We want to try to sell some stuff. We want to try to make a little bit of a side hustle out of it, and who knows, maybe more of a than a little side hustle. And we realize that locally here, the population isn't huge. We're selling to a smaller pool of people, and with competition. So we are trying to figure out as we build these tables how far we want to deliver. If we want to try to push into the larger markets in Nashville and Memphis, and make it a 2-hour delivery window, maybe first hour free and then add on. I'm not sure yet, but the table's really not a shippable item, and shipping items and selling to the internet is the unlimited customer, really. Using sites like Etsy and Craigslist and Facebook Marketplace and offering shipping really opens up your product market. So we went down the line of thinking about some smaller stuff that is easy to ship, that has lower shipping costs, that are easily boxable, things like that. And so we started making some of those, and really kind of the goal at the beginning for us is to practice making them, get an idea on material costs, get an idea on time to make them. Turnaround time on time we actually have into them, and then also turnaround time, because a lot of stuff we're going to be making is stained or sealed, and just drying time. So really doing some practicing to get some statistics, to get some prices, and get pictures to get ads up and things like that. So we went down that road. We're going to continue to build tables to sell locally, and we have some other products, some other larger products we're going to put together as we accumulate some tools. But we also did that. We picked up a compound miter saw from Harbor Freight. Worked great. It was cheap. It's going to do the job for what we need at this point. And if we sell enough stuff, then and get into some really nicer, finer woods and things like that, and the saws just isn't cutting it, then at that point we'll have to reevaluate. But for the price, can't beat the 12-inch compound sliding miter saw that we picked up for like under $250. So excited about that. As we sell some things, that money is going back into material, tools, and that until we get really what we want and have that going. So we looked at a couple of easy projects. We had some scrap wood from the table build, and so the first small item that we decided to make were some gravity wine holders, magic wine holders. Basically it's a board that sits at an angle, and the wine bottle goes through a hole, and where you position the wine bottle changes the center of gravity over the board, and so the board can sit at an angle, and the bottle can stay. Actually, it tips a little bit, which is ideal, keeping it, if you have corked wine, keeping the cork wet. But basically a display piece for displaying some wine. I don't know if it's necessarily functional. If you open the bottle of wine, you could probably do a bottle of whiskey or something like that in it. It's about the right size. We messed around with different angles and positioning of the hole that's in it, and we were able to get a nice compromise to where we could accommodate both a 750 milliliter bottle and a 1 liter bottle of wine. Unfortunately, I had to buy a bunch of wine to test that out, so we're having to consume that now to get to drink up the wine after we got our pictures taken. But we got a couple of those made after I said, messing around with the angles and the hole placement to take both of those bottles. And I guess I might have to buy Corey some whiskey. I don't drink whiskey anymore. But buy Corey some different liquors and see if you could do a display with maybe a high-end whiskey or something like that in the same format. So excited about that. Got a couple of those done. One in an espresso stain, one in a chestnut stain. And then we were sitting there dicking around, and the bit that I picked up to drill the hole for the neck of the wine bottle is the same size as the bit you would use for drilling out holes for tea light candles. So out of some scrap there, we knocked some ends off of a scrap piece of 2x4. Did some simple math and put some holes in it for some tea light candles and made a little tea light candle holder. As I search on Etsy and these sites, craft sites, eBay, things like that, people are buying these things. And Corey and I really, I realized it a while ago. I try to tell Corey, and we need to keep in mind, both of us, that we're not building things for us to buy. These aren't things that we would buy, but we're not buying them. We're not making things for us, and it's something that I have to keep in mind for a lot of different things. So those are the two products we got done. We finished those, knocked them out basically in a day, and got some pictures, starting to get listings up on those. Second farmhouse table is coming up, and right now what I am working on as far as what I'm starting a habit in the works. I started it yesterday morning, but we're going to sand all the pieces before we put it together. Is a children's size picnic table, basically for kids, and maybe like up to 6, I think is what the listing says. I'm not really sure. I haven't got it together yet. I have all the pieces prepped and cut, and like I said, I want to sand it really good since it's a kids picnic table. We're going to sand it really good before we put it together, and then assemble it. It shouldn't be too long. So that one definitely sell locally. I don't think it's a really shippable item. I mean, I guess anything is shippable. Anything's really shippable. But yeah, we have lists of different items we were going to build, and Hunter says 4x4 end cut coasters. Yeah, we're Corey wants to end up making cutting boards too. One thing she wants eventually, but that's we need some more tools. We're really roughing it with the tools we have and the facilities. We don't have a facility. Basically, we're working outside under the sun with a plastic folding table, and now we have our outside picnic table that we're working on. So it's a challenge for sure. It's definitely a challenge. I'll be excited to build a little shop up when we get the cabin up. That'll probably be a priority when we get up there. Probably beyond animal containment would be to put up a little shop that we'll be able to put our tools and keep our tools out. Right now we're having to put everything away under the camper or in the truck and get them out every time we want to use them, packing them away in boxes and things like that. So to have a shop where we would have access to all this stuff, it would be ideal, but it is what it is right now. You got to start somewhere. Hunter also asked, where are we getting the plans? Everywhere, really. I started following a few woodworking guys on YouTube. Corey and I both joined some Facebook groups for beginner woodworkers, and really looking at the things we want to build, and just kind of, once you see enough plans, you can kind of put it together. The internet. The internet is a wonderful place. You can find a lot of things for free, and you can adjust as needed. So my dad had a wood shop. My dad had a wood shop when I was a kid, so that was long before woodworking plans were free on the World Wide Web. As Chris Dixon says, there's a thing called the World Wide Web. Surprisingly, you can find everything there. Pretty much. But Hunter is technologically retarded, so he might need help with that. Jim chimes in and says he heard YouTube's a good place to learn things. Right. I follow one guy that I follow that I like. He's a little goofy. Is what the hell is his name? The Bearded Viking on YouTube. He's an interesting character. He builds some interesting stuff. Simple little projects. And then one of the guys' last name is Voss. He builds some cool little stuff. He's got free plans on his website, and yeah, just anywhere. Corey finds pictures of stuff on the web or in the Facebook groups and sends them to me, and then I hunt down the same or very similar plans, and we figure out if we want to build it or not. So kind of how that works. So yeah, we got a couple little sample projects done. Next to be put together is the kids' picnic table, and then we'll start working on the next large farmhouse table. And yes, Dixon says, "Who's the boss?" Yeah, he's a good shit. I like his stuff. He's I'm gonna make some of his planters at a minimum for us. Yeah, the large farmhouse table, and then Corey has some other stuff in the works as far as a smalls that we'll pound out, get listings up, and hopefully knock some out and sell them. Comfreyroots.com if you're thinking about growing your own comfrey or cashing in on comfrey economy. Yes, there is a comfrey economy. Now is the time. At comfreyroots.com, we sell hardy Bocking number 4 comfrey root cuttings, perfect for permaculture, soil repair, or turning into a profitable side hustle. Ask me how I know. Right now, we're including a free established crown with every order. This isn't just the crown where we harvested the plant, cut the roots off, and had a crown left over and didn't want to replant it, which used to happen all the time when I was on the farm. This is actually something that's been grown in a 4-inch pot and established as its own plant. You will get that plant, that established plant. You get that free with every 5-pack of roots. So you get 50 roots and an established plant in a 4-inch pot. And won't have the green as much as you'd think on the top. You don't want that anyway when you're putting it in the ground to get it started. Anyway, this is enough to get you started on your side hustle if you got a little patch that you're looking to get into. If you're looking to start making money selling comfrey roots, it's not going to be overnight. Just FYI, I suggest putting them in the ground for at least a year and letting them get established before you start digging them up and selling the roots. But after that year, you will be literally growing money. That sale's going on until the end of May or if we run out between now and then. So head on over to comfreyroots.com, throw a 5-pack or a 1 or a 2-pack in your cart, hit go. Comfreyroots.com, grow something valuable. It's been a very, very nice little side hustle for me for at least the last, we're probably at going on 7 years now. So, it's worth it, guys. Really is. I'm glad I did it when I did. I wish I had done it the season earlier. I waited a little longer than I really should have. So anyway, one last thing on the list today to talk about, and then we'll wrap up and get out of here. The weather has been been crazy. Been talking about it for weeks now. We had a lot of severe storms. We had that tornado go through less than 20 miles from here. Really, really nasty tornado that did a shitload of damage. But man, the last couple of weeks, it has just rained and rained. And these weird pop-up rainstorms where it's raining while it's sunny, not a cloud in the sky, and it's just raining. And I would say that it's the humidity just bleeding out of the air, but it really isn't. Some of it is, but other times it's a nice sunny day. Maybe a passing shower has gone through, but you look up, not a cloud in the sky, especially not over top of you, not a ton of wind or anything, and it's just raining. I don't get it. I don't get it. When I was a kid, I took science, I took earth science, I took weather in earth science, and you had to have a cloud to drop the rain. I don't know. It's weird. Maybe it's the chemtrails. But anyway, we've had that kind of weird stuff. We've had significant rain clouds roll through, storm systems, tornadoes in Kentucky. We've gotten lucky in the last few severe storms. They've kind of split where we're at. They've either gone north or south or both of us. We had one huge line come across the one that had the tornadoes in Kentucky. It was a solid. Chris Dixon says the firmament's leaking. Somebody forgot to turn the bath. God forgot to turn his bath water off, sprinkling on us, or he missed the toilet and he's pissing on our heads. Anyway, yeah, the storm was a solid line coming across, and it looked like it was going to just rock us, and it split, and we were lucky enough not to get. I mean, we barely got any rain from it at all, but lots of downpours, random downpours where it'll just downpour for 45 minutes and then it'd be clear. Which is it's tough with working outside with all our tools. We'll get everything set up. We watch the radar quite closely and get everything set up, start working, and then we got to put everything away before it rains because we don't have any cover. Anyway, yesterday though was an absolute shit show. I mentioned I went out to the property. I got some parts cut, some wood cut for the kids' picnic table. Corey was finishing up on the wine holders and the tea light holders, and so I ran out to the property. I came home. It hadn't rained at all. I had to stop at the store, just barely sprinkling on the windshield as I'm getting close to the camper. And I get home and I come inside and she's like, "Did it rain where you were at?" I was like, "No." She's like, "Well, I barely got everything brought inside and I had everything outside and I checked the radar and it absolutely downpoured here." And like literally, Chris Dixon says, "If only someone would send you a 10 by 12 portable shed." That is possibly going to happen with the shed that I have out there, but right now we're just not there. We're not in that location, and I'm not bringing it here. I don't think the property owner would be too thrilled. Jim says again, "Well, they sent me the 3x6 too," but that really wouldn't work too well for a wood shop. Well, I'll get in touch with them. I've sold a few of those sheds. I'll get in touch and see if they want to send me another one. I want it a little bigger than that, actually. But anyway, downpoured here. Not a blip of anything in the. So I was probably 20 miles away, and then I came back and had to drive right past where we are to go to the store. Not any sort of significant rain at all. And so I asked her, I said, "Well, do you want to go out and start working on the picnic table? Or what do you want to do?" And she's like, "Well, we're supposed to get more rain coming and it probably don't have enough time to get everything out." And so she's watching the radar and not a blip. Jim says contact their competitors for comparison video. Yeah, no shit. I want to contact like Tough Shed and be like, "Hey, you want to compare your 15 by 30 Tough Shed with this metal one I got?" she decided, she's like, hey, we don't have enough time. We're looking at the radar, and there's a little bit of light green popping up here and there. And so we're sitting, and we got all the windows open in the camper, and the cool breeze is, it was nice. It was refreshing in the camper. And we're sitting there, and we're looking outside, and all of a sudden, this huge wind gust comes in the trees, and I'm like, wow, that was significant. And like somebody turned a fucking faucet on, it just started downpouring like a fucking hurricane outside. I look in our screen tent that we have covering up. We have we have all our raw material on a table, tarped over the table and under a screen tent. The screen tent basically is like folding over almost on the ground. Our shower tent that's outside was basically folded over, touching the ground. And it was just downpouring buckets. We're scrambling. We're trying to get the windows shut in the camper. And the rain came so fast, and it was pouring off the roof of the camper so fast that it was pouring into the windows, the open windows of the camper. And like out of nowhere. And it downpoured like that for probably a good half hour straight. I'm like, what the fuck? The rain just has to be done. From the last 2 years we've been here, this seems like it's going significantly longer into the spring / summer. It feels like the last 2 summers, and I think we were actually quite dry the last 2 years. But this year it seems like it's extending further out, and I could go for some of that dry right about now, and let things dry up so we can work on the cabin, and the soil will be nice and dry when they get their equipment up there and start installing things. So, we will see. It'd be nice to be able to get outside and work for more than a quarter of a day too, and not have to rush to put everything away before we get downpoured on. So maybe someday. Other than that, God, not much. Like I said, I spent a ton of time with Corey this past week. Really enjoyed her being off of her day job. She her stress level was way down, and we were really productive. So hopefully swing some of that stuff into some extra cash, and figure out how to make it work full time for her. And so with that, I think I'll wrap up. Thanks to everybody hanging out in the live chat: Hunter, Chris Dixon, Jim, Mike's Homestead. Appreciate you guys all stopping by and hanging out. Chris Dixon says we'll be toiling in the sun, praying for rain and a breeze soon enough. I think I got enough. I think I have enough. I think I've had enough rain till fall for sure. But yeah, it is. It's a give and a take. So anyway, don't forget to check out the Blockstream Jade and Jade Plus if you're not using one. If you're not using a hardware wallet at all, I definitely recommend you pick one up. If you're using another hardware wallet, bravo, thank you for doing so and securing your Bitcoin, because 109,873 going to pop up here pretty soon, going on the bull run. So secure your Bitcoin. I would hate to see you lose it. And then also comfreyroots.com over there with the buy 5 get a free crown deal, and FOMO 21 for the new Bitcoin hat, which I'm digging. I'm not a huge fan. They got tons of different styles of hat. I picked one that I wasn't aware that was this clasp back, but it's actually pretty comfortable, and I'll probably hang on to it here for doing online live stream stuff like that. So FOMO 21, 10% off with code LOTS, FOMO21.com, FOMO 21. And guys, that's about it. We'll see how the week goes, and we will circle back and catch up with everybody next Monday.